Since the beginning of agriculture, many moons before we know it as it is now, farmers have taken care to select and save healthy seeds for the next season. They continue to breed new varieties adapted to the local and ecological context, ensuring the conservation of agricultural biodiversity. Scientists began breeding and producing seeds professionally, creating hybrids and genetically modified seeds in specialized laboratories. Seed production has become a huge global business. This system, in many ways, is inappropriate to meeting future seed needs. Despite that, it gets the majority of attention and resources. Partnerships between smallholder farmers and formal sector breeders to improve crops and varieties based on their own priorities are still rare in South and Southern Africa. However, the role of smallholder farmers in maintaining agricultural biodiversity is becoming more recognized. Part of the maintenance and the reproduction of agricultural biodiversity is adapting seed to changing ecological conditions. Drought, nutrient limits in the soil, and pests, as well as diseases, can threaten production if seeds are not adapted. At the National Seed Dialogue and Celebration, hosted by the African Centre for Biodiversity at Constitution Hill in December 2017, this session of smallholder farmers, seed breeding and crop improvement unpacks the potential roles of smallholder farmers in these processes.
Today we're talking about participatory breeding. It means that it is a kind of breeding which involves farmers. It could be from the beginning, at the middle, or towards the end of the process, or across all aspects of the process. This helps the farmer to get involved in a decision-making process in terms of selection, in terms of the crop behavior, how it behaves in the farm. It also helps the researcher to have a good understanding of the farmer's perception of that particular crop.
Participatory plant breeding is really revolutionary. It started about 25 years ago, and I think over time we build up from failing and from failures and from making mistakes. But I think now in many countries around the world there's quite a strong group of breeders and other agricultural researchers and also social scientists working together to promote this approach, which is really, as they said, putting the traditional breeding approach upside down. Yeah? So I think it's very important to understand that this is an approach to empower farmers and to put farmers in the driver's seat of the breeding process.
The power of collective strength, the power of numbers. These communal farmers are in their millions, and what needs to be done is for them to collectively accumulate capital towards their own programs.
Some of the new things that we are experimenting with partners in several countries is working with many more farmers. I think for a long time we only managed to work with small groups of farmers, and small groups of farmers testing a few new varieties or a few new lines. More recently, we have turned that into a kind of different approach where we try to involve hundreds of farmers and even thousands of farmers, like in the case of India, where each of the farmer tests only a few varieties. So that makes it very interesting because that allows more farmers to participate, but it also allows more feedback. You get more feedback from more farmers. And as you know, each farm is always a little bit different from the neighboring farm. And of course, when you introduce new varieties, we need to make sure that they do well, not just on one farm. So I think this is a very interesting approach we call crowdsourcing.
What is the role of farmers in this whole process? I think we could see it from two perspectives. One is in setting breeding goals. Farmers are involved in identifying the breeding agendas, as opposed to a group of researchers sitting in their offices and outline what are the research objectives going to be. It also assists in the selection of the breeding lines.
We're learning a lot from what you just said on actually as farmers to go back and form ourselves into movements where we draw from the very same banks the seeds that we'll need, and also on ownership to also sit and agree. And I just want to cite an example. We meet as Indaba Zokudla as small-scale farmers, and then there's been farmers that have been given a rainbow seed. It's from Natal to start now and grow that and bring back. So it comes back to that 1 cup, you bring 2 cups back. But now we're looking at having lists that we can send to you, and I'm happy that the Department of Agriculture is here, where we can actually request seeds as per the discussion that we were having earlier on in the morning, to say we can come in as small-scale farmers, request seed, go back and share, and because there is consent from the person who banked it initially.
It is not fully supported in a government policy system. I think we need to have a system in government policies that actually acknowledges the value of participatory breeding, and then it is taken up as a government agenda going forward. I think those are, we do have those kind of things, but it is not crystal clear on how it should be done and what are the values and what time frame do we need, etc., etc. Those are not part of government agendas.